implement, but if I never saw another trailing mission in my life, I'd die happy. And finally, at number 1, blatant story padding. I don't know about you, but one of the most annoying things in open world games is when you start getting blatantly padded out. I'm talking about stuff like unlocking the true ending in Arkham Knight. It's a great game, obviously, but they make you get every single Riddler trophy in the game to unlock the real ending. Like, could 75% have not been enough? I feel like that could have been enough. Another game that goes way too long is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You're okay,
Seriously,
girl.
there's no reason to have to conquer every single country on the map before the ending becomes available. Like, why make it so you can select a story arc if the game forces you to do them all anyway?
Good girl.
It's already massive. Is it really that necessary that you have to take control of everything before you can do the final mission? In Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you only need to conquer 3 of the boroughs to be able to finish the game. Imagine how much of a slog it would be if you had to clear out everything. Like, I don't mind a game having some requirements, but some open world games are really ridiculous with it. Like, Middle-earth Shadow of War used to be one of the worst games about this. The Shadow of War section took forever, just the most tedious and frustrating thing, but the game was patched and it made that whole section significantly very shorter. Usually I'd be really disappointed by something like that, but in this case, it made the game way better. Mafia 3 is another open world game that adds things up. Crazy. There's no reason why you have to take out every racket in the area before you can actually take out the leader. It's just shameless, and it makes the game longer, and that's the only reason it's there. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not, that's why it's there. Like, open world game design, don't do this. Or really any of it. Like, if you listen to this point, open world game designers, like, find alternatives to this stuff. Or, if you have to do some of them, make it good. Like I said, like, there's good examples of most of this stuff in games. It's just gonna be hard for you to do it that way, because you're gonna have to find a new way to do something that you've done about a million times.
I ain't listening to you.
I would recommend
You piece of shit.
not doing this stuff and finding new stuff. That's me, though. I'm just a bird. What do I know? That's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new
You piece
videos
of
every day
shit.
of the week. Best way to see them first, of course, is subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Game News. 2001, when they would have actually been revolutionary, and that's what Gothic was. We don't know when the remake's coming, but it's coming. And number 22 is Pikmin 4. It's been a very long time since a new Pikmin game came out. Pikmin 3 came out in 2013, and it is truly a very good game. I love Pikmin, and I'm really excited for a new one, because although Pikmin 3 is enhanced for the Nintendo Switch, it very much looks like a game from 2013. Pikmin 4 doesn't have a release date yet, but it is coming to the Nintendo Switch this year. And number 21 is Sin Duality, a third-person mecha shooter where you're obviously taking control of a big old robot and shooting stuff. It's also a mixed media project with the series coming to Disney+. The game, however, is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC sometime this year. And number 20 is Like a Dragon Inshin, a spin-off of the Yakuza series, which is now known everywhere as the Like a Dragon series. This one takes place in the mid-1800s and is actually not dissimilar in plot and location to Rise of the Ronin. However, it's not going to feel anything like that game because it's going to play like Yakuza 5. This is actually a game that was previously Japan only, while the new one is worldwide and recasts several of the people to have characters from other mainline Yakuza titles, and lands on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC February 21st. And number 19 is Tekken 8, the first Unreal Engine 5 fighting game. Holy crap, look at it. The field effects so far are insane, and I cannot wait to play this game. Just on graphics alone. Tekken is also, like, aside from Street Fighter, basically the premier fighting game series. So, I don't know what else really needs to be said. I can't wait to play this. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC sometime this year. And number 18 is Fire Emblem Engage, which is launched very, very soon. It's the latest entry in the tactical RPG series that we all know and love so well. This is kind of a best-of game that features people from many different games, but it gives a new plot, and is probably just going to be fan service. Romance, story. It's coming in Nintendo Switch on January 20th. And number 17 is Like a Dragon 8, previously titled Yakuza 8. They've, again, like I said, switched over to full Like a Dragon, which is what it's called in Japan. Like a Dragon 7 was turn-based, so is Like a Dragon 8. It basically continues the story of 7. It's coming to the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the PC. Actually, probably 2024. And number 16 is Octopath Traveler 2, which based on the success of the original Octopath Traveler was a very it had its own little problems regarding the narrative structure, but it seems like they've taken on the criticism because they said the characters and I think it's going to be an awesome game. I love Octopath Traveler. The sequel's coming to PlayStation 4, 5, Nintendo Switch, and PC, February 24th. And number 15 is Assassin's Creed Mirage, which takes the series back to the more straightforward narrative style that its empire was built on. Not that the big open world ones are not fun, or I don't want them. I definitely want to keep making them, but I'm also really happy to be getting more of a regular Assassin's Creed game. It's going to be coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, PC, as well this year. At number 14 is Assassin's Creed X. Don't know exactly what this is, but they're calling it a very different type of Assassin's Creed game. Given the imagery of the 30-second teaser they gave, we have to imagine it has something to do with the Salem Witch Trials or something along those lines. That's pretty much everything we know, though, and we have no idea when it's coming out. At number 13 is Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which is an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan, which absolutely yes, hell yes. Again, this is one we don't know a lot about, and we've really only seen some art, technically, which is more than Codename Hex, but less than we can make any inferences about exactly what kind of game it is. And number 12 is Silent Hill F, an entirely new Silent Hill game, but is set in 1960s rural Japan, so it's a very different looking Silent Hill. Again, we don't really know very much about this game other than its era and setting. It does look pretty wild, and like a pretty big development with Silent Hill, so we'll keep you updated on anything new we hear on it. And number 11 is Silent Hill Ascension, which is something I don't fully understand yet. Apparently it's going to be a massively interactive live event, which streams one time, and the decisions of the community are going to become canon in the Silent Hill mythos. It's a collaboration between Konami, Bad Robot Games, Behavior Interactive, and GenVid Technologies. It's coming sometime this year and will probably remain a mystery for a little bit longer. And number 10 is The Witcher remake, a remake of the original Witcher game in Unreal 5 as a fully open world game. I think great decision, as it was originally a linear level-based game. Adapting the script to an open world game, I think, is a great, interesting challenge. And of course, I want to play more Witcher at any given time. I don't want to go back to the way that the original game was structured, because it is jank to the extreme, and I'm excited for it. We do not know when that is coming. And number 9 is Crime Boss Rocket City, a turf wars / FPS game that can be played single player or multiplayer. It's a very interesting looking attempt at a crime game. The footage we've seen of the game is pretty cool. However, obviously, they're very keen on saying subject to change on the bottom of anything they've released, so we'll see. At number 8 is Amnesia: The Bunker, a new Amnesia game taking place in a World War I bunker. This version of Amnesia will have weapons, although we'll see if that actually has a huge effect on things. Amnesia: The Bunker is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC in March. At number 7 is Lost Soul Aside, an action RPG that has some aesthetic similarities to Final Fantasy, but comes to us from Alta Zero Games. It's an action RPG. It was a game that started off as a single developer's solo project back in 2016. The reason we're counting this announcement is because the thing that's been announced is pretty different from the original announcement. It's a full-blown studio developing the game now. It looks cool. We'll see more about it soon, I'm sure. And number 6 is Remnant 2, the sequel to Remnant from the Ashes, a solo or co-op third-person survival action.
Coming on, girl.
Basically continuing the story of the first game. I mean, the original was pretty popular, so I think it's probably a good idea to make a sequel for it. We don't know exactly when it's coming out, but Souls-like shooters are few and far between, and this one did it very well the first time around.
Doing okay, girl.
And number 5 is Company of Heroes 3, an RTS that follows the series. They're billing it as the ultimate package of action tactics.
Hang in there, girl.
The last game came out in 2013 and was kind of divisive, so this is kind of a nice spot to reboot and do it right. Company of Heroes 3 is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC February 23rd. And number 4 is Hades 2, the first sequel to Supergiant Games. Obviously, you know what a Supergiant game is. You know how big of a success Hades was, taking a roguelike approach to the type of game that they make, and I am excited to get into this. Hades 2 is going to be released in early access the same way the original was, and then eventually for the consoles. And number 3 is Crash Team Rumble, a kind of platform 4v4 team competition game. Honestly, it seems like a pretty fun idea, and if they execute it right, this could be Crash actually having a multiplayer competition game of its own. Like Crash Team Racing is fun, but it's obviously, you know, Mario Kart. Crash Team Rumble is not really like any other game that I've seen, at least from the trailer, and I hope that it ends up being as cool as it looks. That's landing on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and it's landing sometime this year. And number 2 is Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, From Software's big Met game announcement. There has not been an Armored Core game in a very long time, and while they said that it's not going to be a Souls-like, it will be incorporating some of the things that they've learned from Dark Souls and the massive success that's been, however applying it to a very, very different type of game. This one's going to be landing on PS4, 5, the Xbox Series, and probably PC, though they did not give us a release date. And finally, at number 1, probably one of the biggest surprises I can imagine, Death Stranding 2. I still don't know what Death Stranding 1 exactly landed on. I've beaten it a few times, and it's a certainly very emotional ending, but I don't really understand it. So I don't really know where we're going for Death Stranding 2. Could be anywhere. We do know that Kojima's a damn genius, and I am excited
Now,
to see
what's
this
going
game
on in
play.
here?
And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week.
Now, I know
Best
I'm
way to
pretty,
see the
but
first is, of
you
course,
don't
a
gotta
subscription. So
stare.
click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero. And we'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks. The video game world is one that has constant change in it. Some stuff sticks around, some of it disappears. It's not always the good stuff that sticks around either. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 7 gaming trends that need to come back in 2023. I don't want to mess around, I'm just going to hit number 7 right up. Because this is the drum that I, frankly, love beating. It makes a great sound, and wow, it would be awesome if it got paid a little bit more attention by the industry. So number 7 is gonna be feature complete.
Don't try to be
games
something
at
you're not.
launch. This is one of those that just has to be said. In the past few years, there has been a noticeable increase in the amount of unfinished games being released. And I don't mean early access games. I mean games that should be early access games, put into retail boxes and digital downloads in the various storefronts that don't have everything in them that they're intended to. And whoa, let's not get started on the bugs. Sometimes they eventually get fixed too, but here's the thing that really blows my effing mind. Sometimes they don't. Like they're just like, all right, well, we put out an incomplete game. Hope you like it. In a world where patches are possible, like, are you not concerned if I will buy the next game? It's really nice when they do get fixed, but it's also kind of weird that releases are no longer about when the game comes out. They're also about the following months, when it gets updated, when the performance improves, or when the devs finally manage to patch in some features that they promised but never did. Like, it's so much worse with the games that pretend to be finished too, but it's still annoying to have to sort through all these actual early access games. Like, I know I was complaining about the releases that are early access but aren't really, but early access isn't quarantined to Steam anymore. You can get an early access game just about anywhere, and it's annoying to deal with as a complication when you're reading about the game. Figuring out, I'm going to buy this. I'm looking at a game, it sounds interesting. I'm thinking, wow, these features, these ideas sound real cool. Oh, it's in early access. Everything is, including the games that aren't in early access. Yes, early access works great for a lot of games out there. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but there's a certain threshold that a game needs to be for it to be okay to release an early access version of it, and it varies upon the scope and idea of the project, sure. But as a player of games, I want to play a finished game, not something piecemeal that might look completely different when the game actually comes out, which could be years away, or in the case of Star Citizen, frickin' never. Now, I'm not saying that early access is bad. For an indie developer trying to raise money to finish a game, it's often a way that works better than Kickstarter, in fact. And the good sales look good in terms of promoting the game. But like something like Disney's Dreamlight Valley, that shouldn't have come out in early access.
What are you
That's
doing?
too far. Like, do you think the Disney Corporation really needs to raise enough money to finish their game? No, they can afford it. So is it so much to ask to get a complete game at launch? And no, I'm not even complaining about day one patches. If they ship a game gold and continue working on it until the day of release, I know that we all used to complain a lot about that, but you know what? That's actually awesome. When a day one patch is the difference between a small game and a complete game, and sometimes it is, that's actually fine. Even if the publisher is trying to rush a game out. But man, a lot of games really come out in rough state. Cyberpunk 2077, that's a full sentence. I don't need to say anything else. That is the subject, that is the predicate, the noun, the verb, that's the whole thing. The only upside is that somehow a lot of big developers are allowed to actually continue working on their game and fix it. That's the only upside to this. And it's an upside that if this wasn't a problem, wouldn't have to be an upside.
Excuse me there.
And number 6 is curated marketplaces. So, marketplaces suck. They're hard to navigate, they're slow, they're overloaded with shovelware. It used to be a big deal when something like Life of the Black Tiger came out on PSN, but every day is Black Tiger Day on PSN the same way every day is Friday at Wendy's. Most of the crap we're talking about isn't even a game. A lot of it is scams, stuff that would have been laughed out of the Xbox Live Indie game service for being awful. Most of them have barely any gameplay that can be finished in 5 to 10 minutes. Like, pretty much every free online arcade has games that are better than these. And it used to just be Steam with all of the shovelware. But now compared to eShop and PSN, the Steam store is like an oasis. It didn't used to be this way either. It used to be the console marketplaces that were super curated and moderated. You'd see like a few releases a week, and you know, it gave games the chance to stand out and be noticed. And now a lot of really good indie games get totally lost and ignored. Basically, the only way you'd be able to find the good ones is through word of mouth. Like Nintendo. Nintendo. They used to be especially ruthless about what would show up at the eShop, and just being on the platform was like a sign that there was a certain threshold met. And it is not like that now. And let me just quickly say, I don't think that mega-tight moderation that ends up rejecting would-be masterpieces is good. And that's something that we saw a few years ago in a lot of these places. But the alternative there is to have bigger moderation teams that are able to check out more material, not just open the friggin' floodgates and let everyone in. Because, frankly, we are in the era of the spam game. And number 5, and I think a lot of people are going to back me up on this one, the AA publisher. Like, I talk about this all the time with so many different people. This is one of my main theories of why we don't see as many good games now. There's basically only 2 types of games anymore. Indie games and AAA games. And there's almost nothing in between. I mean, we see a few AA, but way back, there was a thriving AA industry with publishers that were not the big dog, but they were putting out major games like old school THQ, Acclaim, Atlas, Marvelous Incorporated. Not every single one of these games were great, but they had budgets behind them, and they were often more interesting and innovative than the stuff coming out of the AAA space. And the reason for that is your only options were not pixel art game made by one guy. CGI and most realistic, expensive project you've ever seen made by a couple thousand people. The market had a lot in between those things. Further, a lot of the AA publishers could just take risks that AAA publishers can't. And it's because they have budgets, but they don't have the biggest budgets. Instead of saying, hey, here's $500 million to make a game, they say, hey, here's $30 million. Give us the best you can out of $30 million. They're going to go, you know what? Let's do more than anybody has done with $30 million. And they end up making something that makes $500 million. And then they're not a AA, game studio anymore, but yeah. And that doesn't mean everything that came out of THQ or Acclaim was great. There's a reason why those companies don't exist, at least as they did back then. THQ is a completely different thing now. But the good sticks out in our memories a lot more than the bad, because